and welcome to another episode of Community Connections. I am your host, Anna Orr, and today we are talking about the Great Minnesota Get-Together and a couple of other special guests across the greater metro. Today's guest will be Abdirahman Kahin, and he is the CEO and founder of AfroDeli Grille. He's talking to us about their amazing cuisine, his community work, and a little bit more upcoming this summer. He'll be headed to the Minnesota State Fair. This is going to be an episode you won't want to miss. Thank you for joining me today. I'm so excited to have you and to talk about the amazing work that you are doing in the community, Abdirahman. Can you introduce yourself to viewers and talk a little bit about your amazing organization?
Yes, my name is Abdirahman Kahin. I own the AfroDeli Grille. I'm the CEO and the founder. It's 4 restaurants in the Twin Cities, in St. Paul and Minneapolis. And our food is from Africa to Minnesota, so it's kind of vision of African cuisine.
So bringing a little bit of fusion to the Twin Cities.
Yes.
That's wonderful. Can you talk to me a little bit about the mission of AfroDeli Grille?
So AfroDeli, basically, it's an ambassador of the African culture in the Twin Cities. As you know, we have 400,000, Africans who live in the Twin Cities. So we make sure that our food is well represented, not only into the community, but also to the mainstream. So that's the vision and the mission of the concept.
And you talk about that fusion from Africa to Minnesota. Can you talk about a little bit about your personal connection here in the Twin Cities or the Minnesota area?
So I live half of my life in the Twin Cities, and 12 years ago, 13 years ago, I could not find, a restaurant that I can bring my non-Somalis or non-African friends. Mm-hmm. Usually our restaurants, we only cater, to each other, like it's more like a community restaurants. Mm-hmm. So I say I can come up with a concept that's open to everyone. So the majority of our customers right now are 95%, non-Africans. Mm-hmm. So introducing, the African flavor to people who have never ate or who have never traveled to Africa. So we brought Africa in the Twin Cities, basically.
And you spoke about the other 3 locations you guys have here, one being in Cedar Riverside area, mm-hmm. another one in St. Paul, and then one not too far from us, right here on Marquette in the Skyway area.
So basically we have 4.
Yeah.
So we have 3 in Minneapolis and 1 in St. Paul. Mm-hmm. So in University of Minnesota, the largest university in the state, mm-hmm. we have 2, one on East Bank and one on the West Bank. And here the Skyway, Minneapolis Skyway, and also downtown downtown St. Paul. We also have a commissary kitchen where we do, community meals, mm-hmm. Catering. So basically we have 5 restaurants, but 4 are AfroDeli.
Wow. Now you talked a little bit about the businesses. Can you talk to me a little bit about the community engagement and the work that you've been doing with Coalition Kitchen to foster community and feed people amongst patrons of the restaurant?
So being a restaurant owner, I brag myself to be a community space. I consider my restaurants community space because that's where people usually meet. Mm-hmm. So the whole concept is to bring people together, is to have a conversation, because we share a lot of value cultures and we share a lot of values with everyone in the Twin Cities. So we made AfroDeli a place where people can share. So I'm a social, enterprise. So every time that the community needs something, we are the first place that people, seek, information or donation or in-kind donation. So we pride ourselves to be a community space. So business and community should stick together.
And you are addressing food scarcity or the war on hunger in your community. You guys focused on really heavily during COVID and very much so after. Can you talk about how that work came to be?
So when COVID happened in the Twin Cities, all the businesses were closed. And I'm aware that in our community we have a lot of elders, and we have a lot of disabled people that rely on food from the government or food from adult daycares. So everything was shut down. And then I said, what are you going to do for those people? So instead of closing the restaurants, we say, hey, we have a lot of food, because we usually buy like a week or 2 weeks, right? So when everything shut down, we don't want to waste that food. So we said, let's cook and donate to the elders in the community, especially the Somalis, the Oromos, the East African in the 20s in the South Minneapolis. So we did like 2-3 days, and then they keep calling us, say, are you guys bringing food today? So then I said I have to do something, and then I call different agencies, government agencies, the city, and then Meals on Wheels, which is a non-profit organization that has 100 years history that provide services to the elders. Said we're gonna fund you if you cook for them. So all my kitchens were serving the community. So it was basically a reimbursement type thing. So they were just paying, the food costs, and then we call, volunteers, people in the community who wanna bring the food from our kitchen to, to the public housing, to where these elders live. So it was a good program. We got like a good coverage, and then the program was started like 100 people to 1,500 people. So we were very, very busy during COVID. We were, basically, those essential workers.
I think that's beautiful of a service for you all to provide. I read on the website you guys were talking about providing people cultural meals, and I don't think we necessarily think about that we bring, we have our elders here, but they're not the pizza, burgers, tacos type. I don't know about anybody else's grandparents or great-grandparents, but I've never seen my grandma eat a taco or a fast food burger per se. So I know that was very important and something that they would be able to have nourishment consistently, and something that somebody who may not have a kitchen space is able to also endure, utilize in their homes. I know that going to a food bank, we get canned goods or we may get fresh foods, but if you don't have a space to cook it, or if you don't have the ability to stand,
so
it's just food.
So that's what the solution. So even after COVID till today, we're still serving about 400 or 500 people.
Wow.
Still the same people, because they are vulnerable and they cannot cook, and it's hard for them other service provider to provide the kind of meal we're doing. So right now we work in another group called Kitchen Coalition. It's the Second Harvest. So the past 2 years, they like our program, they like our service, our food. So we're working with them, and we're gonna make this model even national. We're talking like how to bring this model, national. Not only it's helping the elders, but it's also creating jobs, because we hire those people who volunteer in the get-go. So it creates jobs. It also helps the restaurant to stay in business. So it's a model that we want to make a national, where nonprofits and restaurants can work together for the community in a space where they can provide like those agencies will only provide the food cost, just reimbursement. But this restaurant will stay, stable, and the community will get, good food instead of getting like a canned food or dry food. So it's a model that we want to take it, other states nationally.
And I'm sure it's providing a level of interaction that some elders may not have been
Yes.
receiving for a long period of
Yes.
time, since they're not able to, some of them, to not go out and be social.
Yeah.
Being able to see someone come and bring them food,
Exactly.
speak to them,
Yeah.
check on them,
Yeah.
is probably really good for their soul
Yeah.
as well.
And the other thing we do, we don't just like throw the food to like a community room. We package individually
Yes.
and drop to each home.
So personal takeout
Personal,
meals
yes,
are happening.
like a pizza delivery. So that's what they like.
That's
so we pay
beautiful.
attention. So because that's what you really need. If you are providing meal, you should provide it, like we provide for our customers.
I think that's a wonderful concept. Now, just pivoting just a little bit more about community. I was reading on the website, and you guys were talking about community partners and people that are working with you, like Second Harvest and Coalition Kitchen, people that are working alongside you to get to your big end goals, which is meeting the needs of your community.
Yeah.
How did you begin the idea to even start fostering these partnerships with other businesses that may have not even been in the same industry as you?
So it's all about when COVID happened. That's when they discover us, the service that we were doing for the community. And also culturally, this non-profit organization will have never be able to serve, especially the East African community, the Somalis, the Oromo, because we eat different, food that they eat.
Yes.
So they get the funding because they get from, private. They get money from the corporates, from the private donors, so they have to give that money, that service to everyone. So we become the bridge between our community and this non-profit organization. So we are socially responsible, as I said before, and that's how everything came through. And hopefully we'll be able to provide more meals, in the community, because that's not enough.
Yeah. Are you looking for more community partners to partner with on different initiatives as you guys continue to move forward?
Yeah, because when COVID happened, we discovered that a lot of people needs fresh, home meal, because they are unable to cook, and some of the service providers, they don't have a kitchen. So they buy from Sam's Club, or they will, give them like a canned food.
Right.
So I think working restaurants and non-profit together, I think it will be a long-time solution.
Is there any specific metrics that you would hope to be an at least initial starting point for engagement as a community partner? Is there something that you're looking for that says, yeah, I think your focus is in the right place to work with us?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is the restaurant owners or the business owners should be more into giving than taking, and be like more humanitarian, because we as business owners, we should look up our community and make sure that nobody is going hungry at night, because while you're making money and then your neighbor or you're going hungry, that's not the best solution. So I make sure that I pass on that message to the partners, to especially the young entrepreneur who coming up in the community, to reinvest the community they came from.
I think that's a beautiful sentiment. Now, I think we should toot your own horn a little bit. You were recently named the 2023 Business Person of the Year by the Small Business Association. What does this recognition mean to you?
It's an honor. It's something that every business owner or every entrepreneur work for, because sometimes you work very hard and you get recognition. And so I'm very humbled to be the one, but there are a lot of other people who does better job, who does more than what I do, but sometimes you have to be also fortunate. So I'm very humbled to receive that award, and I receive for the community, especially the immigrant community, especially the East African community, the African community who work very, very hard, but a lot of times their work is not showcase. So sometimes it's good to be able to represent them.
Now, AfroDeli was just announced that they are headed to the Great Minnesota Get Together, the State Fair, Minnesota State Fair. What are you looking forward to about bringing the taste of AfroDeli to the state fair on such a large scale?
Yeah, so the state fair, the Minnesota State Fair is top 5 events in the country. They draw 2 million people in 12 days, and it's all about food. And African food was missing. They have all kind of food, whether it's from Europe, from Latin America, or from from the Middle East, but nothing from Africa. So my mission have always been how to bring the African flavor, and it took us like we applied 3 times, and the 4th time we got they hear us, and we are very proud to have a location not only for this year, but it's going to be like a permanent location. So basically it will be our 5th AfroDeli location with state fair food. It's not going to be like full menu, but we're going to have a sambusas, because sambusa it's easy to eat, and the state fair people like to snacks to try on everything. So we're going to have sweet plantains, which are more like known in the West, the West Africa. Sweet plantain is really well known, even though East Africa eats, but East Africa, sambusa, and West Africa, the sweet plantains. So we're going to have these 2 items selling, the next 12 days. So I want every African person to come state fair, and because we're representing, the African continent.
Absolutely.
So come try.
We've been personally invited, everyone, to come out to the State Fair and support AfroDeli Grille while they are making their debut out at the Minnesota State Fair. Can you talk to me a little bit about ways in which we can support the work that you're doing going forward? You have a hand in so many different things, helping with community engagement and working hands-on in the restaurant, different locations, now headed to the State Fair. For those of us that may not be able to come and support the businesses in person, how can we support you?
So we don't accept donations because we are for profit, but we have our partners, the non-profit partners in our website. You can check the community page or the partner page, and you can donate to those non-profit that we're working together.
I think that's wonderful. And then for those that didn't catch it at the beginning of the program, please share the locations of the standalone stores so that people can come in and purchase the amazing food you have.
Yeah, we have one huge one in downtown St. Paul with a beautiful patio. University of Minnesota, we have 2 locations, one in the Stadium Village and the West Bank, Cedar Riverside, where most East African live. And if you work in downtown Minneapolis, we located in the Skyway, Marquette and 7, in the Baker Building, next to the tallest building in downtown Minneapolis, next to the IDS.
You got a good view while you enjoy some amazing food.
Exactly.
Now, can you please provide us with any social media handles and things like that so that we can keep reading about the amazing work that you guys are doing at AfroDeli?
Any social media you are on, just click AfroDeli. We are on Twitter, we are on Snapchat, we are on TikTok, Facebook, we have a blog, and just Google AfroDeli.com.
Okay. Thank you for joining me today, Abdirahman, and all the best to you as you move forward throughout the rest of this summer. And I'm definitely going to come out and check you guys out at the State Fair.
Thank
you so much. A very special thank you to Abdirahman Kahin and his team at AfroDeli Grille and their amazing work that they are doing in the community. Please stop by one of their many locations and try some of the amazing food and catch them out at the Minnesota State Fair and support them so that they're able to return year after year. As always, I am your host, Anna Orr, and this has been another episode of Community Connections. I look forward to connecting again with you soon.